Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today is the sixth lecture of pericyclic chemistry, and today we are going to see one example, that is hexatriene, that is 135 hexatriene precisely. And we shall see the molecular orbitals of hexatriene and the symmetry operations carried out on hexatriene, so that we can better understand the reaction chemistry of pericyclic reaction chemistry of hexatriene. Like previous two lectures, the key concepts, the key points are the same. Like we are going to discuss the molecular orbitals of hexatriene, and then we shall see that which symmetry operations hold valid when we carry out molecular orbital correlations of hexatriene converting into another pericyclic reaction product. And then the correlation diagrams will be discussed, that how we can, just like last time we discussed correlation diagrams, so this time we are going to see that how they apply well to hexatriene structure. This is how a hexatriene or 135 hexatriene molecule looks like. It has 3 carbon-carbon double bonds. Basically there are 16 covalent bonds in total, out of which 8 are carbon-hydrogen sigma bonds, and 5 are carbon-carbon sigma bonds, and 3 are carbon-carbon pi bonds. And these 3 carbon-carbon pi bonds are very crucial or important to us because these pi bonds are basically involved in the pericyclic reactions. Okay, here are the molecular orbital diagrams of hexatriene molecule. In case of hexatriene, we know that there are 6 atoms there are 6 carbon atoms present. If we just leave all these carbon atoms and even carbon-carbon single bonds and carbon-hydrogen single bonds there, and then we are left with the representation of carbon-carbon double bond, that is carbon-carbon pi bond, by these p orbitals. If we don't construct the p orbitals as such, then we just leave unhybridized p orbital on these carbons. But what we can show here, and we have already discussed that why it is necessary to why it is important, or why it is customized like that, is because using p orbitals like this, it makes the process easy to carry out symmetry operations, and also because it is easy to change the, we have to carry out sometimes conrotatory and disrotatory rotation or mode of rotation, then we can easily handle these p orbitals. So what we can do, that there is one way, this way, and the other thing, just like when we draw butadiene molecular orbital diagram, then what we do is to make a linear combination of 2 ethylene molecules combining together. One time we add them, then we get 2 bonding, and in one time we subtract them and we get 2 anti-bonding molecular orbitals. But in this case we can also do it like that, we have 3 ethylene molecules, 3 times we add them and 3 times we subtract them. So this is how it can be carried out. But in the long run, what we get are the 6 bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbitals in total. So there are 6 molecular orbitals. Why there are 6? Because 6 atomic orbitals of carbon, they are mixing together and they are forming 6 molecular orbitals here. 3 of them they are bonding, and 3 of them, these are anti-bonding molecular orbitals. And about their structure, let's see that if we start from the lowest possible molecular orbital diagram, then how it happens that we have all the similar signs on one side. One side, it means that one side of the atom line joining the nuclei. So it means that there is no sign invariant we can see in the first molecular orbital. If there is no sign invariant, it means there is no node present in here. So we can see that this has because there is no node, as the number of nodes increases, so it means that with the increase of number of nodes, the energy of the molecular orbital, it also increases. So that's why we say that the lowest possible energy is of that molecular orbital that has the least number of nodes. Anyways, it was a psi 1 function, and then psi1 wave function, and then we move to the next wave function in there. Because this is psi2, we already discussed that the number of nodes shall be the psi n minus 1. So here is n is 2, so there shall be one node present in here. So because there is one node, it means there shall be one sign invariant here. So because of one sign invariant, we get psi2, and its energy, because of the presence of this node, energy of psi2 is greater, or you can say higher than psi1. Similar is the case of psi3, that is another bonding molecular orbital of 135 hexatriene. That in psi3 these orbitals are in such a way that there are two nodes present, and two nodes make the energy of psi3 higher than psi2. Then we go to the next orbital, that is psi4. In psi4 they are there are supposed to be three nodes present. So in this case, how does it go, that there are one node between C1 and C2, and then we see another node between C3 and C4, and then C5 and C6 there is another node. So there are three nodes in total, and this is one of the antibonding molecular orbital. And then again psi5 has the 4 number of nodes, and psi6 has 5 number of nodes. When we this was all about the molecular orbitals of hexatriene, but when we talk about the symmetry operations, we already discussed that we can carry out the simplest mirror plane symmetry as twofold axis of symmetry on these, and can have a comparison of how these hexatriene molecule can undergo pericyclic reaction. So when we carry out mirror plane symmetry operation on psi1, so it can equally be divided into it can easily be divided into two equal halves. But when we talk about psi2, if you put a mirror plane in between the C3 or C4, then we see that there is invariant of sign. So this is not symmetric with respect to mirror plane element. Next comes the psi3. When we place a like mirror plane between C3 and C4, then we see that these are quite symmetric with respect to both halves. So this one is symmetric with respect to sigma or mirror plane. Psi4 is again asymmetric because it can't be divided into equal halves. Then again psi5 is symmetric, it can be divided into equal halves, and psi6 is asymmetric with respect to sigma. Talking about C2 axis of symmetry, if you just consider that it can be inverted, like if you have a axis on the line joining the two nuclei, if you rotate this one by 180 degree, and then you just get all the signs inverted. So this one is quite different from the initial diagram of the psi1 wave function of these, or you can say molecular orbital diagram. So this one is asymmetric with respect to C2 axis. But in case of psi2, if you invert it, then you get exactly the same picture that was of the original molecular orbital. So this one is symmetric. Similar is the case of psi4 and psi6, that they are symmetric with respect to the C2 axis. But psi3 and psi5, they are anti-symmetric with respect to C2 axis of symmetry. I hope you can understand that how these symmetry elements are applied on these molecular orbital diagrams. Okay, because we have talked about that how these hexatriene molecules they can be constructed, and how symmetry elements can be carried out on them. But now is the time that we see that how these molecular orbitals can be utilized to how we can use them to check whether a particular reaction is thermally allowed, or it is thermally forbidden, or it is photochemically allowed or forbidden. So first of all, we shall see that whether the thermal, for this we have selected a reaction, that is the electrocyclization of hexatriene to you have cyclohexadiene, that is 1,3-cyclohexadiene. So in this case, this reaction can be catalyzed by temperature, or you can use irradiation mode too. But how they are different, when we talk about two components of a reaction, like we have cycloaddition type of reaction, where sometimes even you can take an example of Diels-Alder reaction. In Diels-Alder reaction, diene reacts with dienophile. So in this case you have two reactants. For that one, we see that the symmetries of the reactants, they should match when they react. But in this case, when we start from you can see one reactant, for this the terminal carbon atoms, they are very crucial. And we have already talked about this rotatory mode of rotation or motion, or conrotatory motion. These two modes, they differ from, just like in one reaction, if thermal disrotation is allowed, then it won't be allowed by photochemical means. So photochemically only conrotatory motion shall be allowed to form this bonding in the long run in the product. Anyways, coming back to the example here, like that 135 hexadiene to triene to 1,3-cyclohexadiene. Okay, we have like we had 6 pi orbitals of like we have 6 psi functions, or you can see the 6 orbitals of these molecular orbitals of these 135 hexatriene. So in this case we say that we have to identify that which one is homo and which one is pneumo. So when we say that there are 6 unhybridized p orbitals, so they are going to form a bond, like like pi bond is going to form. So each carbon has 1 electron. It means that there are going to be 2 electrons for 2 carbons, and there are in total 6 carbon atoms, so there are going to be 6 electrons in total. So it means that there are 6 electrons to be distributed in these 6 p orbital 6 psi functions, the 6 molecular orbitals of hexatriene. Because one orbital can only contain 2 electrons, and we are going to follow all the rules of filling electrons. So it goes from the lowest possible energy to higher, and then higher, and then if there are still electrons remaining, then they go to the highest level. So in here we say that electrons, they go to psi1 function, the first molecular orbital, and then they go to psi2, and then they go to 2 electrons go to psi3. So in case of psi3, we have 2 electrons, but psi4 is empty. So that's why we say that psi3 is the homo or highest occupied molecular orbital, while psi4 is the lowest unoccupied molecular orbital. So we know that we have homo is identified now. So what we have to take care next is how this homo can go into the reaction, because in here I have only shown psi3. It means that we are only talking about the homo of this out of all the molecular orbitals available, we have only selected highest occupied molecular orbital, because that is the one crucial for the reaction. Okay, now we have selected that which molecular orbital is going to involve in the reaction, that is psi3. Next step is that we have to see that either disrotation is allowed or conrotation is allowed. Basically, when we carry out these reactions, there are many different approaches that we, I guess, discussed in the very early lectures, that there are different possibilities. We can use the frontier orbital molecular orbital approach. We can also use this symmetry operation. We can also use the aromaticity concept to check whether a particular reaction is allowed or forbidden. So in this case, the first of all, we are going to see that the molecular orbital approach, how does it explain whether this reaction is allowed or not. So next step, we are going to see that whether symmetry allows these kind of transformations or not. Okay, talking about disrotatory motion, when the terminal orbitals on terminal carbon atoms, they move in the opposite direction. Then if they move in the opposite direction, psi3 has perfect alignment to make a sigma bond. But in case it means that it does look like that thermally this disrotatory motion should be allowed. But in case of conrotative mode of motion, rotation, what happens that both these terminal the orbitals and terminal carbon atoms, they move in the same direction. So in this case, what we can see from the orbital diagram or orbital picture, that there is sigma star is formed. So sigma star are anti-bonding orbital is formed. So in this case, anti-bonding shows that this one should be forbidden. So according to molecular orbital approach, it does give us information that this rotatory mode of rotation or this rotatory mode shall be allowed if the HOMO undergoes a reaction and the bonding is allowed in this case. But for psi3 to undergo conrotatory motion, anti-bonding orbital is formed. That it means that here the reaction is conrotatory motion. Through conrotatory motion, reaction is Let's see if the same reaction is allowed through the photochemical mode or not. In the first one, we saw that thermal electrocyclization of hexatriene was allowed through disrotatory motion. And in this case, let's see if because in photochemical we have already we already know that in photochemical or irradiation mode, what happens that electrons get excited from ground state to excited state. So in this case, we had psi3. In the case of hexatriene, psi3 was the highest occupied molecular orbital. But after irradiation, electrons from psi3 they move to psi4, and then now the highest occupied molecular orbital is psi4. So now we are going to consider psi4 as the main or prime or principal orbital to undergo these reactions. Because psi4 has different kind of orbitals involved and different shapes of orbital, or you can say different sign invariance there. Here we have in psi4 there are 3 nodes present. Anyways, there are 2 modes again they are available, like conrotatory mode or disrotatory mode. When we carry out conrotatory mode, that is both of these orbitals on terminal carbon atom, they move in the same direction. In this case, we see that the bonding is allowed because the sign invariance, there are no sign invariance, and the positive lobe coincide with the positive lobe. But in case of psi4, when it goes into disrotatory mode of motion, then we say that both these orbitals on the terminal carbon atoms, they move in the opposite direction. And why they have to move, we know that we are going to make another sigma bond. So for sigma bond, these 2 terminal orbitals, they have to coincide from head to head. So in any case, they have to move towards each other. So in this case, they are moving in the opposite direction, be it clockwise. One is clockwise and the other is anti-clockwise. So in this case, anti-bonding interaction is same. So because of this anti-bonding interaction, we say that this rotatory mode of motion is forbidden for photochemical electrocyclization reaction. Okay. In this case, we have already discussed that how molecular orbital theory, you can say frontier molecular orbital theory (FMO), it describes that when we talk about hexatriene, it means that we are talking about 4n plus 2 kind of system, 4 pi system, that is 4n plus 2 pi electronic system. When we talk about butadiene, then this one is 4 pi electronic system, 4n pi electronic system. Anyways, so the rules for 4n pi electronic system are 4n plus 2 pi electronic system. These are always opposite to each other. So in this case, we have seen that in case of thermal pericyclic reaction, we say that this rotatory mode was allowed, and it goes that, and in case of photochemical reaction, when we carry out electrocyclization of hexatriene, then it goes through conrotatory mode of rotation. Okay, coming to, this was about frontier molecular orbital approach. But when we talk about symmetry correlation diagrams, or you can say the symmetry operation, when we carry out these symmetry operations on these molecular orbitals of hexatriene, we say that we have to first consider that there are different 2 possibilities that we carry out symmetry operation, that is mirror plane symmetry operation on psi1, and we can also carry out C2 axis of symmetry on psi1 wave function. then in both cases we see that these are always opposite to each other, that in one case in psi1 we have mirror plane but we don't have any C2 axis. So with respect to mirror plane it is symmetric, but with respect to C2 axis it is asymmetric. So these all orbitals, they can be categorized according to these symmetry operations, and we have a list of these designations along with the psi functions or molecular orbitals of these hexatrions. And then on the other hand side, this is the product, that is 1,3-cyclohexadiene. You remember we had when we talk about the reaction of two ethylene molecules, in that case we just discussed that how one ethylene molecule HOMO and the other LUMO, their symmetries should match. But in this case, because there is only one reactant, so we have to consider the reactant's electron that have to go to the product. So in this case the symmetries of reactants, they should match with the particular molecular orbital in consideration that is going to be formed after the electronic transfer or electronic movement. Talking about 1,3-cyclohexadiene. In case of 1,3-cyclohexadiene, the symmetry operations are carried out and the designations are written here. And why we are only considering this these six, we are considering whether, okay, we were discussing that why they are these designations are used, like sigma and then pi 1, pi 2, pi 3, pi 4 and sigma star, because in the structure of 1,3-cyclohexadiene the main bonds formed are broken are. It is because they are the bond formed and broken are one sigma bond and two pi bonds are formed. So it means that we are going to have one sigma bond, there shall be one sigma and sigma star associated with it. And about pi bonds, there are two pi bonds, so there shall be two pi molecular orbitals and two pi star or pi anti-bonding molecular orbital. So these can also generally be classified as psi1, psi2, psi3, psi4, but these psi wave functions we are using for conjugated system, that is there are only two pi orbitals here. For sigma we shall use the same designation like sigma and sigma star. Anyways, this was all about the molecular orbitals of 1,3-cyclohexadiene. When we talk about the symmetry elements, because in this case in sigma bond we have the sigma bonding molecular orbitals, and which like we discussed in the rules or precautions for drawing correlation diagram, we said we are only considering those orbitals that are being formed or being broken in a particular transformation. So in sigma, our first molecular orbital of 1,3-cyclohexadiene, we are only using or notifying, or you can say that this in this design we are only showing these p orbitals overlapping head to head in a constructive way or in a bonding way. In psi1 we are using the first bonding molecular orbital of these 4 electronic conjugated system. That should be, I mean the 4, you can see that from psi1 to psi4 the system or molecular orbital diagrams are very similar to butadiene. The rest are the sigma and sigma star. So when we carry out symmetry operations on these molecular orbitals, then we see that with mirror plane we shall see that this one is symmetric, and with for psi1 we say that this again is symmetric. Once we have written these designations of these molecular or being symmetric or asymmetric, then we have to find out that which correlations are possible. So here we can make a correlation that from the like HOMO of, like here in thermal reaction psi3 is the HOMO, so from HOMO to LUMO electrons can transfer, but in this case LUMO shall be the molecular orbital of 1,3-cyclohexadiene. So from psi3 electrons can move to the pi 3 star or psi3 of these cyclohexadiene. But in case of photochemical reaction, this HOMO is changed. So HOMO is now psi4. So from psi4 to the electrons can move to the ground state of these. We say that cyclohexadiene. So in that case, electrons should move to psi 3. In this case, we have to see from psi 4 the electrons shall move to the next hot ground state of these cyclohexadiene. Anyways, what we know about these, that electrons in this case, when we talk about for thermal electrocyclization of hexatriene, we say that when we talk about symmetry, then psi 3 has is symmetric with respect to mirror plane, and then when we talk about psi 3, you can say that's pi 3 star, then it is also symmetric. So this kind of correlation states that it is possible. But in case of photochemical, we talk about C2 axis, that C2 axis of symmetry is maintained in photochemical conversion of 1,3-cyclohexadiene into 1,3,5-hexatriene or vice versa. This is quite the same thing that we discussed in the previous slides, that this is almost, you can say, this is how we can summarize that in case of thermal reaction, psi 3 undergoes distributory motion and it results in a symmetrically allowed through when we talk about mirror plane symmetry, then we get this kind of 1,3-cyclohexadiene. But in case of photochemical reaction of 1,3,5-hexatriene, it can convert to 1,3-cyclohexadiene, but in this case conrotatory mode of action takes place, and here is the psi 4 star is, that is excited HOMO. It goes through the C2 symmetry can be maintained or can be preserved when it undergoes conrotatory motion, and symmetrically allowed this product of that 1,3-cyclohexadiene is formed. Okay, there is just like the electrocyclization of hexatriene, we already know that these electrocyclization, these type of reactions, they occur in a reversible reaction. So where electrocyclization of hexatriene happens, there is another possibility that is the ring opening reaction of these 1,3-cyclohexadiene compounds. So if we consider the electros, that is the ring opening reaction of these cyclohexadienes, then how come these reactions go on? So this is why we are considering it. It is because these reactions are exactly correlated with the previous example. So in this case, what happens that the reactants in this case are the products of the previous example. Here we have sigma, pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 star, pi 4 star, and sigma star, these orbitals. And according to and for these we are considering C2 axis of symmetry as a symmetry element here. So this is why I use this diagram here. I really wanted you to see this diagram because of the last rules we discussed in the previous lecture. Basically, in the previous lecture we studied that first we discussed that thing, and then we shall come back to the ring opening reaction of hexadiene. What I wanted you to know that we discussed one point where it was seen that the crossing of these correlations, they shouldn't be done when they are like they are of the same symmetry elements. Like you see that there is a correlation that is made between sigma orbital and the psi 2 orbital. That is, transfer of electrons can only happen from symmetric to symmetric orbital. But in this case, there is also a correlation made between pi 1 to psi 1. In this case, asymmetric to asymmetric transfer of electron is shown here. But what I want you to know that here the crossing is of symmetric with the asymmetric one. It can't happen that there is a line that is connecting between connecting the two symmetric orbitals, and there is another line that is connecting two symmetric orbitals. They cannot overlap each other, they cannot cross each other. So this if they cross each other, then this correlation diagram is not right. We have to reconsider it because it may be erroneous, that there are some errors that we are making in making these correlation diagrams. Okay, coming back to the ring opening reaction of cyclohexadiene. That is 1,3-cyclohexadiene precisely. In this case, cyclohexadiene is our reactant and hexatriene is our product. So in what I want you to know here, the electrons that are present in HOMO, that is the HOMO orbital is basically Psi2 orbital. So from HOMO orbital, electrons have to move to Psi4. So because Psi4 is the LUMO in this case, and the thing is that because we are carrying out C2 symmetry operation, so electrons they are moving from a symmetric orbital to symmetric orbital again. So this is how symmetry is conserved in this kind of reaction, and they have further told us that counterrotative interconvection was valid in this case. So now you have notice that how correlation diagrams are made, and this was a basically general correlation that we have matched each orbital of reactant with each orbital of product. This is a book I told you that there are good references and also good explanation of these the molecular orbital symmetry diagrams and correlation diagrams is there. Kindly try to write a note on comparison of hexatriene conversion into 1,3-cyclohexadiene through both commutative and distributory mode in thermal mode of reaction.